T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
On the planet.
Oh, are you leading?
You literally said if I want to.
Oh, I mean,
I didn't watch the show, but I asked you, and you literally said if I wanted to, then I lead. So here we are, Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Post show for Monday Night Raw tonight. Of course, I actually did not watch tonight's episode. I was actually at Fallout for tonight. So I'm still looking at some of the reviews. I know tonight is a late show, but we are here. We are live on Twitch. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm with my tag team partner, Santana. And so let's just jump right into it because, there was obviously a lot that went on. The show opened up with Vince coming out.
He didn't open up with Vince, but he ended up coming out. The part where Brock Lesnar, they announced that Brock Lesnar was supposed to be coming, and unfortunately, we did not see Brock. We got Vince McMahon once again just coming out, and the only thing that he's been doing is just making announcements. And tonight, he just made an announcement that John Cena would be coming next week. And then he left, and that was all that he said.
Gotcha. Well, not much from Vince, just like we didn't see much from Vince on SmackDown either, to be honest. I don't know. I think he's just really toying with the people at this point, honestly.
He is. He just...
Cena.
Yeah, we could have left that first comment off. That's just too much.
I'm reading here from CBS News. He didn't really say much. And quote, CBS News says, he made sure his face was on TV during the investigation into allegations of misconduct involving hush money paid to a female employee with whom he had an affair with. Of course, all the speculation has been going on with Vince, and honestly, it's just been really crazy. But I guess he's gonna continue to tow with the fans, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Of course, there's nothing new with Vince and all the things that he chooses to do. And right now, it just seems very tone deaf of what he's doing. Or he's just constantly going to continue to find ways to, seize the situation, because maybe this will be the couple last time we may see him, to be honest. That's why it's probably the reason why he's showing his face a lot.
I didn't even think about that, honestly, because I mean, he was on SmackDown. Now he's on Raw. So it's kind of like I don't honestly know what's gonna happen with Vince or to Vince or honestly with the company. It's been a lot going on in wrestling, especially with WWE. I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Sasha Banks. You know, so many rumors asking for releases and this, that, and the third. And until we hear from the horse's mouth, then honestly, I really don't know. We had a segment, I'm guessing, with Miz and Ciampa.
Well, so what happened was Miz did his, his Miz TV and everything, and then he his guest for this week was AJ Styles, and obviously the Miz was just still nagging at him and about the part about him being, getting beat up by Judgment Day, losing Finn and all this and that. Just doing what Miz normally does is antagonize people and constantly antagonize people. And so he decided to attack AJ Styles, but obviously that didn't last that long until Tommaso, Ciampa decided that he wanted to. Seems like honestly, Ciampa has been working with Miz a lot. If we're being honest, he's definitely been working with Miz a lot, with whoever he's bickering with. And this week it just had to be AJ Styles. And so Ciampa and AJ ended up having a match, which AJ ended up winning. And he ended up, Miz decided that he wanted to try to attack him from behind. And this is what we got. We got AJ Styles rocking Miz's glasses. Like, do you think we can see? Hey, this is very movie star like to me. I mean, it's definitely giving Marine 35.
I thought this was a fake photo, to be honest.
No, it's a real photo.
That is awful.
It's a
Really
real
awful. I don't know. I mean, it was good to see AJ pop up last night in the video package for Impact 20. Of course, the Salt Shakers were in the building as well for that.
photo.
I don't even know what this is.
Oh well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So, real soon. It'll all make sense when we get to it.
Moving right along, we also saw Omos. He was in a qualifying match tonight with Riddle, and surprisingly, he actually won. And he will be going on to Money in the Bank. I know you're really excited about this one.
I am.
You actually predicted saying that he was actually going to be in the match. He was actually someone that you said you actually wanted to see in the match. I recall when I think Bobby asked us who do you want to actually see in the match. TK is in here. Great job, ladies. Shout out to the CEO in the building. All this is just crazy to me. I don't think Omos should have actually qualified over Riddle, but
I mean, well, we can say that, but it does lead to even after this match. I mean, of course, with him, I don't have the picture in here, but Seth Rollins came out after his match that he had with Omos, and Seth just was like, antagonizing per usual, talking about him losing to Roman and never getting a title shot opportunity ever again. Then to losing Randy and Randy, stuff like that. And then he just really just said a lot of things to like really make Riddle upset. And, him and Riddle, they had their little scuffle in the middle of the ring. But unfortunately, Riddle did not get the upper hand because he was stopped by a curve stomp from Seth Rollins.
So it looks like Seth and Riddle are going to be feuding and whoever wins.
Well, I mean, let's just say, Riddle is not in Money in the Bank, but Seth Rollins is. Maybe Riddle will decide that maybe he won't interfere, depending on how this match goes. And of course, Seth needs a little bit of something to do while Cody Rhodes is absent. He's not there, so he needs something to do in the meantime. So why not feud with Riddle, someone who doesn't have anything to do as well for right now?
Hmm. That's interesting because I actually would like to see Seth and Riddle have a match as well. But moving right along, we also had Angelo Dawkins. He defeated Jay Uso
Yeah,
as
he did.
well. That's a good victory for him because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Montez should be solo, and what is that? Where is that going to leave Angelo Dawkins?" I don't think people really realize how talented this man really is.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that
Really weird.
I feel like people should really just let that go because even if they were to become single stars, and I know people have like big high ups for Montez and everything, but I
Mhm.
mean, if we look at it, if you could say like the New Day with them being a faction, all of them held the gold somehow, some way. When Kofi was holding the WWE Championship, they were still a faction. They
Has
were
Xavier ever held anything that's like, oh,
the only thing
besides
he's had
the
is
King
tag
of the
title.
Ring? I mean, the
In the
King.
ring, to act in tag team titles. But as far as like having his own title, like how Big E has had the Intercontinental Championship and the WWE Championship, well, Universal Championship, and so on and so forth. So I mean, like, well, WWE Championship. So I mean, he's like the only person who really hasn't held anything. But I just feel like I don't I know Montez is does extremely well in his singles matches as well as they do as a tag. But I mean, I really don't feel like they should break up. Like we have so many tag teams that have broken up in the past or currently, and it's just like nobody like can we just have a team that just doesn't break up? Like, and there'll be no issues behind it, you
I
know?
think that Street Profits is honestly the saving grace for the tag team division at this point.
Well, I wouldn't say that him having one great match with Roman and people are saying that the Profits should break up. They've been said the Street Profits should have broke.
Yeah,
I've been in multiple conversations with people that have said
yeah.
Montez should go solo. Montez would be a better star than Angelo. Montez this, Montez that, and I get it. There's always going to be that star that you see within the tag team. You're always going to see that. But at the end of the day, they balance each other out really, really well. They
They
do,
do, and
and they
I
shouldn't
think
have to
that
break up.
I think FTR talks about this a lot, but like there has to be some importance in your tag team. Even people say Vince doesn't care about tag teams and stuff like that,
Mhm.
but who's to say? I mean, Montez is definitely a star,
Mhm.
but who's to say? Excuse me. Who's to say that he even wants that pressure as a solo act?
People don't know what it's like to be a solo act and be pressured. Holding the title is a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying?
It
Being a
really,
single star is a lot of pressure too. You
it
know,
really is.
being in the tag, I mean, it's cool, it's simple, it's a breeze. Maybe it is a breeze, or maybe it's not, but it seems a lot less stressful, than being a singles competitor because you have to just as much as a tag team, you have to find your way into winning matches and having these moments to be able to win these titles or get title opportunities. You know, and not everybody's meant to be a single star when they're in the tag.
I definitely don't feel like I would be a single star. I don't. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want that, to be honest.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm just. I feel like tag team wrestling is just not better, but I
Mhm.
think it's just
I
for
definitely
some.
enjoy it.
I enjoy it too, and it's good to see tag teams who are like the Street Profits, or even with like the Creed brothers and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
there's some really good tag team action. The Viking Raiders. I mean,
Yeah.
just there's so many. I mean, of course, the Usos. Like, I
Mhm.
think that when you can solidify yourself as a tag, I think that says a lot.
Because I don't
Um,
see her trying to break up the Usos.
no, because honestly, I don't think they would do too well as singles.
I mean, I know that
Yes. I
when
mean, Jay.
Jay, was because that was because Jimmy was injured. It's not like
Mhm.
they like broke him up and then have them be single stars and then go get put with other people. it just doesn't seem right. And the Street Profits, I don't see them being with anybody else but with each other.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest, because I just feel like
Why would they should have to break up just to go back to being in a tag with some random people that don't
to
even
me, it
there's
just
no balance there. It just throws it off.
there's just no sense of it. There's like
I don't think y'all hate tag teams actually.
I'm starting to think we got a lot of Vinces around here too, honestly,
Mhm.
because tag team wrestling is superior in my
I
book.
love it. I think it's great. It's a lot of action. It's
Yeah,
like
and it's always like I love a good tag. I don't, and
Mhm.
let me tell you something. My favorite moments in the tag team match is when the referee doesn't see the tag. Oh my god, I don't know what that does to
That
me.
be pissing me off.
Oh my god, I absolutely love it. I love when they don't see the tag and then they have to like, oh,
Come
that is just,
corner, be like, I didn't see the tag and stuff. And then it's
ugh.
like, you, like, come on, man. You, come on. What are
I
you doing?
love that. I
They
love
used to
that.
make me mad as a child, bro.
Really?
When I was like, all right.
See,
Now,
I was always like, get that ass
but
to the
I was
back.
always mad at the fact that how long the ref laid on the ground. You mean to tell me that you don't hear you or when they get like if they get hit in the face or something and um they kind of just be like feel like they dazed or something. Like, so you mean to tell me you get tone deaf to all these chair shots happening back here and kendo sticks and people get knocked out with bells and then you turn back around like, well, what
I
happened?
never knew what that meant until I went to an Impact Wrestling show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally the ref is giving direction
Mm-hmm.
to
To
the for
yeah.
the next. I never knew that. I saw that back in last summer, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, that's how that works. Like
Yeah.
it was.
And
I
they turn
saw
their
the
back.
ref.
They just like
Yeah, I saw the ref like giving direction, and I was just like, what?
yeah.
Like that's how that works. But maybe we'll get some more tag team matches, as we go along, with everything. Of course, it's already set for Money in the Bank. The Usos and the Street Profits will go head to head for those titles. But in the meantime, there was a pose off, from my understanding, and it was interrupted
Yeah.
um, by Bobby Lashley. I also heard that Theory was kind of taking shots at his possible opponent, as it seems they're trying to build Austin Theory for John Cena for this return. And I heard he was taking a few shots. Um,
I don't know, but that picture is so funny to me.
that picture is hilarious. Bobby Lashley also, after that, had some things to say regarding the United States Championship. Being a former champion in his own right. And wait, is that right? He has held the United States Championship, right?
hmm
Okay. Um, Sometimes when it comes to the men, I'd be so lost.
Listen, it's a lot that
Um,
has going on with them, to be honest.
sure.
But
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I love this feud.
it's
Um,
it's really not
it's
that bad. As not like some people may think that it is, but I honestly think that it's going really well. I think that when you have someone like Austin Theory, and then you going against like a vet like Bobby Lashley, within this match. So, I mean, like I think that this is great. This is a great start for him. They have their match at Money in the Bank, and then he moves on to SummerSlam. That's only if he beats Bobby. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's only if he beats Bobby. Let's just say that. But yeah, they've definitely been building up for this feud between him and John Cena. But I mean, obviously, Theory was not too happy about what Lashley did to him. And he went to Adam Pearce and he was like, in order for Bobby to get a chance to face me in a match for my title, he has to face three other people in a gauntlet match. So the three people that it was basically Alpha Academy and then Austin Theory himself. And obviously, from these interesting facial expressions that he was making, it was very difficult for him to put Bobby away. Um, he was so frustrated. He didn't know what to do. But in the end, I mean, he Bobby pinned him, and now it's gonna be official. It's gonna be Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory at Money in the Bank for the United States Championship. Um, you're on mute.
I think they're gonna have match of the night. To be honest,
I think it's gonna be a stellar match.
two
To be
great performers. I know people don't really like Theory, but same with Baron Corbin. I think people like don't like people, and then they try to discredit their wrestling. And I'm like, you guys know, like this man is like a really talented wrestler. Like he's not just some jobber that just doesn't know how to wrestle. I know that they put the title on him. You know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he got the title because of Vince," but
he's definitely been out of the shadow of Vince for a minute now, and kind of doing his own thing, and he's been showing why he's holding this title. I mean, at one point, some people really forgot that this title was even relevant. You know, I mean, with Finn, you know, he wasn't really given that many opponents. You know, they just kind of made him a transitional champion. And then with Austin Theory holding the title now, I mean, he's out here every week. He's carrying this title. He's wrestling on live shows and everything of that nature. So I mean, he's finding a way to keep himself relevant out of the shadows of Vince McMahon, if we're being honest, because he's definitely been making it happen. But it seems like, you know, without Vince McMahon, he's kind of been I don't know, like Austin Theory loses his title to Bobby.
He could. I think he is, honestly.
Things have not really been going his way like that either.
They haven't. Joseph says if looks could kill, Austin Theory would be saying with his face he is scared to death of Bobby Lashley. The Almighty wants some gold for himself without needing MVP. I think that's a good way to. I think that's a good way to say it because honestly, like MVP was in Bobby's corner for a while. I don't think he was kind of like an insurance policy thing.
What?
My trigger finger. But overall, I think their feud is really good. Now, I am very upset as we move along that I actually missed this. I don't even know what the hell to say, honestly.
Cheers.
Wait, what? We need that in the camera. Girl, I thought you was holding her.
No, ma'am. This is Kareem soda.
I know you straight edge. I'm just saying. I know you straight edge, but I look. I
don't drink none of them flavored.
I was like, girl, I leave for one.
Nah, no, man.
One episode, but I figured it. What is it now? What is it? Cream soda?
It's cream soda.
Yeah, I love it.
These here, they only sell them at Walmart, and it's so hard to find these at the beer bottle kind because that's the only way I like to drink mine. It makes me feel inclusive. So everybody's walk around with their beer, their actual beer. I can pull out my cream soda and be like, I'm with you guys.
Yeah, I feel that.
This close I'm gonna get.
According to CBS Sports, it says Elias hit Kevin Owens with a guitar after Owens interrupted his concert, obviously. And Elias and Ezekiel were shown having a conversation in quotation marks backstage earlier in the show. And Ezekiel also appeared on the Tron with Owens when Owens interrupted. After Owens stumbled to the backstage area and said he was challenging Elias or Ezekiel to a match next week on Raw, at which point Ezekiel showed up and accepted the challenge. Now, shout out to CBS News for that. This is exactly what they're... Wait, what?
Yeah, this happened. This is what they meant.
There's got to be some pre-recorded shit because I really don't freaking know. Poor Kevin Owens. I mean, this man is just going through it at this point.
That man should have mind his business. He inserted himself.
He did. I mean, I agree with that.
And definitely. Now it continues. You know, at one point I really thought that this was going to be it, but it just seems like it's not.
Who the hell is Elrod?
Okay, so Elrod is the younger brother.
You know what? All right, we're gonna move right along because, girl, this is why I don't have time for this shit. I don't. Joseph said we found out Elias has been working on his music. All right, Joseph. I'm not. Whatever. I got some C. Never mind. Oh my God. So the Elias and Ezekiel are the same person takes over. You know what? Y'all can kiss my ass. Like, what? I'm definitely not missing next week because I missed one episode
and all this shit.
because I'm at Impact Wrestling trying to get reels and trying to get
all of this happened in the midst of you disappearing.
Because not only, and we'll talk about this on Thursday, but not only did I get the next competitor for Jordan Grace, I have the next competitor for Josh Alexander as well. And then I have the next competitor for Mike Speedball as well. Jalen's he said, we've been trying to tell y'all. Sam, one of our writers, says, where is Damian Sandow? I don't know who the hell that is.
The guy, never mind, because you weren't watching at that time, so it'd be pointless to tell you.
The guy that just was released, well, not released, but his contract ended with NWA, right?
Yeah, but he was also a mid stunt double.
And then Sam, one of our writers, says, well, if Elias always had an identical twin this entire time, I just don't even. I like, honestly, this is probably one of the most interesting feuds. I mean, storylines in WWE. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. It like, shout out to whoever's writing this. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get released after they're done with this story, like they did with Otis and Mandy's storyline. I'll never forget that day that they did that. But overall, like, I'm intrigued. And Jalen says you don't listen.
Yeah, I think you're talking about, I don't know who you're talking about.
He's obviously talking about me, I guess, and I'm a mark. Child, whatever. I personally don't give a damn. I want to know what's going on with this, and we'll see next week. I will have a lot to say. Santana will obviously have a lot to say because he's in love with this whole Ezekiel thing, and I love watching.
Like, they look totally different.
They're not the same person. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've been saying this for weeks upon weeks. I thought they was the same person. There's no way in hell these people are the same. Like, they don't even look the same. That doesn't look like a man that was. I'm just so. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm more confused about this situation than Sasha Banks, to be honest. I'm trying to make sure. I don't know why.
We are done with the men, though.
Yeah, I don't.
Here is
just advertising this.
Well, they announced it that it's going to be a last man standing match tonight.
Yeah, they said it.
They announced it was going to be a match at SummerSlam. They didn't say the stipulation. So they announced tonight that.
Well, they did. They did on Smack. They did on Twitter on Friday night.
They announced that there was going to be a match. They didn't say it was a last man standing match.
From what I saw on Friday night, they announced on Twitter that this match was a last man standing match.
They must have did it like after the post.
It was on their. It was after the show, and it was on their Twitter because someone sent the tweet to Sam. Sent the tweet to the group, and it had been announced that they'll be in a last man standing match.
Oh, I just thought they announced.
I guess they reiterated it or announced it or whatever it may be. I personally know a lot of people are upset that they're facing each other. I think it's cute how they got like all this like Broadway downtown looking mess.
Oh yeah, I got the square circle and all that, the brass ring.
So girl, that shit is fabricated.
Oh, I was gonna say, I got the square circle. Okay.
Girl, now we got Tootsies and we got Kid Rock bar and all this other mess. Honey, let me tell y'all, don't come to Nashville thinking y'all finna see some square circle bar. Cause baby, that ain't it. Congratulations to these men. I know they finna have a little cute match. They gonna do their little 1-2. And baby, let me tell you something. Jalen is happy because he's thanking them, I guess. Walk with Ezekiel and then walk with Elias. I ain't walking now. Cut my legs off at this point. Last man standing gonna go crazy low key. Child, it's not. Nikki is right. They did it around 10:15 on Friday. It was during the first break of Rampage. I saw it online and the stip was confirmed. So I guess they were just reiterating it for the people who weren't on social media.
Because I definitely did not see that.
Yeah,
I just knew they got announced. That was it.
I remember when we were watching Rampage that people were saying that it's going to be a last man standing match because everyone was complaining about them circling back to this match. But I mean, we're here now. I don't know what else. Honestly, I don't know what else people expect. And personally, I hope Brock wins and then Seth wins the Money in the Bank and cashes in. But we will have a post show for that. We're still in the works of getting Against All Odds Impact Wrestling post show. Excuse me. Along Money in the Bank post show will take place July 2nd as well. So make sure you tune in for that. But yeah, that's it for the men. As we move on, I hope to figure out why Michael Scott is here.
We're gonna find out when we get there, which we're about to get there.
Oh, that's good. It's for them. I didn't even think it was gonna be for the women.
It is.
Bianca had some things to say as she, was on the, it was reported. I don't know who broke it first, but I'm gonna say Fightful because normally they're the first to break anything. That's where I saw it. It was announced. That Rhea Ripley will not be in the match. Is there any update on why, or is it just?
It just said that she's not medically cleared. That's all it say. We don't know exactly if she's injured or what. They never specified as to why she's not wrestling Bianca. And it's always, this is like whenever Bianca is holding this damn title, like it's always something. Like it's always this person is injuring themselves. This person doesn't show the hell up.
This person comes back.
It's like it's always happening with Bianca, but she look good.
She does look great. She looks really good per usual.
So this is when everybody had came out in the ring. Okay. So basically it started with Bianca, talking about, trying to figure out who her next opponent is going to be. Becky comes out first and says it should be her. And then Asuka comes out and she said, "You still acting like a baby." And then Liv Morgan comes out for God knows what reason. And she starts talking about, I want to cash in my Money in the Bank opportunity for a chance to face Bianca at Money in the Bank. And then Carmella comes out and said, the only reason why you're qualified for Money in the Bank because you was on the strength of Alexa Bliss. And then Alexa Bliss came out. And they just made it a fatal five-way match to determine who would be Bianca's next opponent. Now you ask about this here, and basically the clown is Liv Morgan because I saw a meme that said that this here looks like this here, but the clown is Liv Morgan because she's the only out of place person that is there.
Oh wow! I mean, she's never held a championship.
No, all of these women in here has held the championship.
And what's funny is on Friday, I watched the recap to SmackDown on Sunday, it posts on Peacock or whatever. Yeah. And at that time, Bliss was the only competitor who has actually been a champion. Like Lacey Evans hasn't held, Liv Morgan. Of course, Raquel's the former NXT Women's Champion, but they really don't count that. No. So that's pretty interesting. Joseph says Carmella has room to talk. This was her first match since WrestleMania. And of course, I mean, with that fatal five-way, it was Carmella to gain the victory. And she ended up pinning Liv. And it just really seems like Carmella is kind of like their filler.
She is their filler. She's always like you said once before when we had this conversation about Carmella. No, it was she had a 3-on-1 versus Bianca. Yeah, whatever. But I feel like with Carmella, I mean, they're gonna always find a way to utilize her. Like she doesn't really have anything to do. You know what I'm saying? All these women, obviously they weren't gonna take them out of the qualifying match, you know what I'm saying? They weren't gonna take them out of Money in the Bank to have one of them face Bianca. Maybe the same thing could happen again the way it happened last time, where we think we're gonna have Carmella.
Oh, what if it's Bailey?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we still don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Carmella and Bianca do have this match. And then, of course, Bianca retains and then Bailey comes out. This sets up something for them for SummerSlam. A match that we didn't necessarily get. I think we were supposed to have either an I Quit match or a last woman standing match between.
It was an I Quit.
So,
she had just challenged. They were just about to have that match. Literally, they were on the brink of that match. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know this may sound a bit controversial, but Bianca's best opponent has been Bailey. I don't care what no one says. Sasha and Bianca made history, but their feud was not on the level of hers and Bailey. Bailey took Bianca to a whole different level in the ring. The capability that Bailey has, I feel like is very outshined. My issue I'm going to say this. I give it to Bailey over Sasha when it comes to their feud because they didn't give us anything for Bianca and Sasha.
I don't think they even had anything to do. Like they put them in a whole tag team together to go after the tag team.
And then she gave her the bank statement.
That was stupid.
It was all crazy, to be honest.
I felt like the second time that her and Bianca were doing something, the second time when Sasha came back, I felt like it was a lot better. I felt like this is something that we should have got leading into WrestleMania. I think they were more so focused on history being made than the story being made.
Yeah. So. Justin says he wasn't a fan of this. Alexa and Liv are in the Money in the Bank already. Becky and Asuka were main eventing to get in the Money in the Bank match itself. Bianca and Carmella will just be there. I do see a cash in. I'm not gonna lie. Either we see something happen. I do think that this will be the time where we actually do see Bailey return. I mean, we need a return. I wouldn't be upset if it was Charlotte, honestly, because if Charlotte returns and goes back to Raw and stays away from Ronda, and she's the one that actually faces Bianca, and then Bianca actually wins the match, that would solidify her as technically getting a 1-2-3 victory over all of the 4 horsewomen at this point, which I wouldn't mind it. But, I mean, here we are, and, of course, this is Women's Wrestling Talk. Bianca and Carmella will go one-on-one as of now, streaming live on Peacock for the Raw Women's Championship, and that will take place 1 week from Saturday, July 2nd. Where Santana will be making her big announcement to everyone. So make sure you're here for that. We'll be having a post show. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to this match, if this match even takes place. I honestly think the last time that they were supposed to even fight each other was at SummerSlam, and we saw how that went. Someone made a return. Could it be another 4 horsewoman? And honestly speaking, I don't know how this will go, but this is Money in the Bank, so anything could happen. I don't know if Bianca is going to walk away with her title. She could be the new Charlotte. She could be the one that you cash in on and solidify, because let's just be honest. Bianca Belair has moved up the ranks, and she is the top competitor. Let's just be honest. on any brand. She's on the same level to me as a Charlotte Flair, as a Becky Lynch, as a Bayley, as a Sasha Banks. Not to just name the four horsewomen, but let's just be honest. Like, they kind of passed the torch down to Bianca and Bianca only. A lot of people thought it was going to be Rhea. And it just seems like as soon as Rhea starts to climb that mountain, she gets knocked down. Whether it be literally knocked down or whether it be taken out. And I think that Bianca has, and I said this about Charlotte, and I'll say it about Bianca. Bianca is starting to leave the pack. She really is. She's not even just being a star. I mean, in her own right, she is going to go down as one of the greats. And no matter what happens in her reigns, no matter how they book her, it's always going to be about Bianca Belair, because let's just be honest. Carmella, she's great. She is. She's good at what she does. She's a good talker. She has a look. She spars well in the ring, and she can make someone like a Liv Morgan look good. And that's not to knock Liv. That's just being honest. That's her and Liv. I mean, Carmella has been, to me, Carmella gave Liv better matches than Becky. I just didn't think that Becky and Liv had chemistry. I think Carmella knows how to be in the ring with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. However, with that being said, anything is possible. And just like tonight, we can see anyone be taken off of that mountain. Rhea being one of them, and now moving on to our last match, and of course our main event of the night. Surprisingly enough, and I'm glad that they went with this because they are two of the biggest stars in wrestling right now. Mm-hmm. Asuka and Becky Lynch face to face. Now, let me be honest. I had some issues with them having qualifying matches against each other. I don't think that that's the way to go. Because so the reason why there wasn't a 24/7 shenanigans, to be honest, Dana Brooke actually, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but Dana Brooke defended her championship on Main Event this week against Doudrop. For the results of those matches, make sure you check out Main Event. If you don't have Peacock, you can actually watch Main Event on Hulu. And if you don't have Hulu, then you're just going to have to find another way to watch it. Mm-hmm. I think that this is building up for something spectacular that might happen at Money in the Bank, and we're overdue for a surprise. But back to this match, of course, Asuka and Becky. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this match because I actually think they have a lot of chemistry. They have story that was built even before Money in the Bank. I believe that they still, even with Charlotte being in the mix, I still think that these two women had a different story, a very good story. Now, Becky's not the same Becky that she was back then, of course, but Asuka has remained pretty much the same, a constant. I know a lot of people, are saying, Asuka hasn't been the same since she left NXT. Well, that happens sometimes.
Well, not everybody's going to be the same when they get to the main roster. Like NXT and main roster is very different. Your superstars that you see today that started out in NXT that's on the main roster, nothing like that. Seth Rollins is not like that. Bianca's not like that. Rhea's not like that. There's so many of them that have came from NXT that go up to the main roster. To Charlotte, all the four horsewomen, they're not the same that they were.
I think the only person who is the same is Sasha.
I would say Kevin Owens is still the same.
Kevin Owens is the same, and I think Sasha's the same too. She was the boss in NXT. She's the boss now. I think when she went to Japan, she got better. But with that being said,
not the same as it was in NXT. It got a little watered down. It watered down a little bit on the
See, I
main.
disagree. I think she got better. I think she got better, and she just tweaked it. I think the boss became a mega star on main roster. I think the boss was, the boss was cool in NXT, but it was more about her wrestling.
Mhm.
I think the thing that changed for me was the character development. With Bailey did a whole 180.
Mhm.
Becky, whole 180. Charlotte, I think same with Sasha, like mega star. Like Charlotte wasn't even like a pinnacle at that time in NXT. When she went back to
She's
NXT,
like a lovable baby face.
yeah, like she was like that girl. Joseph says there was a theory that I heard in a watch party on YouTube. Do we think WWE knew Bianca versus Rhea would be better at SummerSlam?
Yes.
Who's
Because
to say?
that's when I feel like it should have happened at SummerSlam. I feel like Rhea and Bianca's feud should have a stretch to it. I do feel like I wanted Rhea and Bianca at SummerSlam versus Money in the Bank. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should be on a bigger stage like a SummerSlam because they have. I mean, I know like they always try to get rid of the whole history that they bring up to the main roster what they have in NXT, but obviously we've seen it. You know, so they can try to do whatever they want, but we know they have history. There have been multiple
They
times
kind of did Bianca wrong. They kind of dropped Bianca out a little bit with their first feud because they literally had, like, it literally was like, oh well, you're facing Charlotte. Well, you want to face Charlotte at WrestleMania, but before you do that, let's throw Bianca in the mix. And then Bianca comes out and tells Charlotte she doesn't even go here, and then beats her in her home. And it's just like, I just felt like that was booked horribly. But now it's almost like Bianca kind of has the last laugh, because if you look at the track record of where they built Rhea, it's been very stagnant.
Yeah.
But when you look at Bianca, she's had story after story. She's had competitors. She's had builds. She's been in Hell in a Cell. She's won Survivor Series. She, like, you can name accolades.
Back to back.
Like, if you put Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair on a list, there's gonna be, like, Bianca's gonna give Charlotte Flair a run for her money. Now, Charlotte Flair might have 3 to 5 more accolades, but let's just be honest. Both Royal Rumble winners, both main eventers of WrestleMania, both have been in the sale. You know, like,
have won in the sale.
Both have won in the sale. So it's like, if you look at it, if we're just being honest, like, the way they booked Bianca could have been the way they booked they could have booked Sasha, but they just didn't. There's a lot of things that they could have gave Sasha that they just didn't. And this goes back to consistency. Bianca is consistent. Charlotte Flair is consistent. Unfortunately, Sasha Banks has not been consistent in WWE. And sometimes
but people don't want to have that conversation though. Nobody wants to talk about how,
because everyone puts Sasha on a pedestal.
That's great, you know what I'm saying? But you can put people on a pedestal, but at some point you have to really come down to earth and understand that, she may be the GOAT in a lot of your eyes. She may be the best women's wrestler that you guys have ever seen in your entire life, but all of that stuff doesn't really matter if it's not matching up with what she's doing now.
Yeah.
You don't see her.
And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, she went over to Japan and trained and stuff like that. But a lot of that stuff she trained, she didn't come back and was able to use in WWE. No. If we're being honest, Sasha Banks, the boss, was held back in WWE. So this could actually be the breaking point that she needs. And I don't think it's at AEW either. I think it's going to be somewhere like, could you imagine Sasha Banks showing up to Stardom?
I think that would be great though, because
then King Coda coming back and just.
I feel like
They
with
think.
Sasha, I mean, she started to implement some new. She started to implement a little bit of new moves when she came back that second time.
Yeah.
When she was like the whole Becky and Bianca situation was going on, and Sasha got herself involved in that too with the whole After Extreme Rules match. And then when she started working with Naomi, they formatted a finisher to a tag team finisher together. Like Sasha was implementing like little things like that, but it just seems as if like the more she tried to implement new things, it just seemed as if like they didn't care. Honestly,
Mm-mm.
it's just like, well, you know, you're gonna implement a little bit of things here, and then boom, you're gonna leave. You're gonna be gone for a few weeks, a month, and then you're gonna come back. You're gonna return to the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again. You know, and that's great and all, but eventually that kind of does get a little stale at the fact that okay, how long are you gonna stay this time? You know, what keeps you? What is stopping you from being consistent here, like you used to be? You know.
And that's just what it is. But before we get out of here, of course, Asuka did qualify. She will join Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans, and Liv Morgan for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Of course, 1 week from Saturday, streaming live on Peacock. And it's going to be very interesting to see because, I mean, we all know Alexa Bliss has won before, Asuka has won before. But I think that they're really high on Raquel and they're really high on Lacey Evans. So it's going to be very interesting to see the last two competitors. We do know that one of them will either be Aaliyah and Shotzi, and then we'll have to just figure out because I mean, let's just be honest. We're literally 1 week away. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. Now, with that being said, someone who else is trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives is Becky Lynch. With these pictures here, she just looks so distraught. I'm gonna be very honest right now. I don't think that Asuka should have been the one. I think it should have been Becky, but I also think that both of these women should not have been facing each other, no matter the feud. If you were going to do anything, they should have been facing other qualifiers and then they cost each other their matches or something. I don't personally know, but I am surprised that Becky is on a downward spiral of losses after, losing to Dana Brooke with the assistance of Asuka, beating the hell out of Dana Brooke, not even starting the match. So technically you didn't get a win there either. And then now tonight she loses against Asuka, and now she, as of now, will not be in the match. But I do think will happen. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's gonna cost Asuka the match." I think she's gonna take Asuka out of the match. I think she's gonna pull the whole the whole Lana thing, and just how Lana was taken out of the Royal Rumble and Becky ended up winning. I think Becky's actually going to. I think she's gonna win. I do, and I think she's gonna cash in, and I think she's gonna be successful. Honestly, and I don't know.
Successful. I think if she does choose to try to take Oscar out or whatever, and it be a Lana situation, I don't think she's gonna be successful. I think that somehow, some way, she's gonna try to do that, and the bell's gonna ring, and then she's gonna, try to do her little manhandle slam, and then Oscar's gonna come out, or it could be Bailey that comes out.
That we can see that because we haven't gotten a proper Bailey and Becky feud either. That's something that I want. I mean, until further notice, the four horsewomen are intact. However, if Sasha Banks leaves, all bets are off, and the four horsewomen, the era will finally be over. And I know a lot of people will be happy about that. I personally am going to cry. But we'll get to that role when we get there. Joseph says it's interesting that Asuka won. The question that creative hasn't answered: who is Becky Lynch without the gold? We went about 3 years without Becky ever losing gold by pinfall. That's also 9 to 12 months of her not even being in action. I think that's so fraudulent the way they say that, you know, she's went this long. She wasn't even there. So to use that is just so crazy to me, but that's how they do in WWE.
You already know.
But yeah, that was pretty much it for the post show. And for everything, all things Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I unfortunately did not watch the show because I was at Fallout. And everything that I saw tonight for Impact Wrestling will be discussed on our post show this Thursday and also next Thursday as well as we gear up for all against all odds. But just to give you guys a quick rundown before we get out of here. So tomorrow, later on today, we'll be back 11:30 Central. We'll be breaking down Miz and Mrs. Wednesday, the Dynamite Dolls will be here breaking down everything AEW Dynamite. Of course, we will be back on Thursday for Impact Wrestling post show. But before that, make sure you check out Katrina and Stephanie. I'm sure they're going to have a lot to say about NXT and NXT UK, along with their trip that they took to Brooklyn, New York to represent Women's Wrestling Talk at Blackfest as well. So make sure you check that out. And then on Friday, we have another post show, SmackDown and Rampage with Stephanie and Santana. And then on Saturday, we will also have All Things Indies with Emily, Mika, and Katrina. And then on Sunday, of course, we will have Turnbuckle Glam that has been on a hiatus for 2 weeks. Not sure about a Forbidden Door post show yet. We are still figuring out everything with that. And then, of course, join us again on Monday as we break down Monday Night Raw. That will be our take-home episode for Money in the Bank. And we will be giving all of our predictions and what we think will happen at Money in the Bank. So you don't want to miss it. Of course, we are exclusively live on Twitch. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. We're not going to stay and talk about the things for Slammiversary. We'll give you more insight on that on Thursday. But in the meantime, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for some amazing footage as well. And Santana, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I'm currently editing photos for Slammiversary still. I'm currently still editing photos for right now. Some of them will be going up today, and over the course of the week and weekends and so on and so much and so forth. Just to kind of spread out some content for you guys in the meantime. Other than that, just make sure you guys continue to check out our website, WWE Talk Pod, for all your articles and things like that. That's about it. I mean, it's still Pride Month, of course. So, you know, those articles are still in the works of getting put out. For this rest of this month, we have this is our last full week. And then we have like 3 days. Well, a whole another week with like 4 days left afterwards before we close out this month. And then we move over into Santana Appreciation Month. So that's about it. Just make sure you continue to follow us on social media. WWE Talk Pod, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Of course, if you missed tonight's show live, you can go back and watch it on Twitch, or you can go to YouTube and watch it as well. Check out all the interviews, check out our content that we have on the Instagram page as well from Slammiversary, as well as Blackfest. A lot of things to come. So yeah, just thank you guys for staying up this late with us. Per usual, because you know we're the only ones to do the late shows around here. So, you know, here we are.
Here we are. With that being said, you have been rocking with the best, of course, the dominating tag team here at Women's Wrestling Talk. The hardest, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, the hardest working tag team in this fucking industry. Okay, I just want y'all to know, like, we've been working so much. We literally gave 2 post shows, an article, footage, 3 to 5 reels, posted on Twitter. I mean, listen, we appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all appreciate us because we know y'all do. With that being said, we will catch y'all tomorrow night. Be easy. Make sure you stay hydrated. And remember that Women's Wrestling Talk is the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Okay? Until next time, you guys, we'll see you later on.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.
No. What God is
It won't end.
You on some Jeff Hardy shit.